All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks a lot for this great opportunity. I'm Victor, the co-founder and CEO of Scribble. We're really changing the way that people are working with online information, and this is a problem that comes deeply from my own personal experience. So we're basically scratching an itch that I had when I was in school with the solution that we've been building. The way that we all work these days has changed dramatically. Today, we all turn to the web for information related to schoolwork and personal projects. But the way that we tend to work with that information for a lot of people is still largely stuck in the desktop era. So a lot of folks are still doing these old school broken desktop era workflows that really need to be updated and replaced for the internet era. And that's what we've built here at Scribble. Let's take a quick look at what that solution looks like in a couple of screenshots. So we have a pretty sophisticated bookmarklet that sits in the bookmarks part of your browser. And while you're reading and researching on the web, you can click that to basically load our toolbar on top of any article on the web. And with it, you can richly annotate articles with different colors and styles. And when you're ready, you can actually even capture the citation information pretty easily with one click and a little bit of extra work. When you're ready after that, you can save that citation information along with the annotated articles to an online account in the cloud called your personal library. And here's what that looks like. The library is a really powerful mechanism to be able to save, manage, and collaborate on all the content you found on the web. We use filters and tags to give you the ability to quickly sort through the information, and we full text index all the articles in the library so that you can do a simple keyword search and find an article very easily and quickly, like you do, for example, finding an email within your Gmail account. One of the things we're really proud of is that Scribble has been helping students, and so since we launched our student edition about 3 months ago, we've actually been embraced by students. And this is an example, testimonial from a student named Ryan, who needed something like this when he was in high school, and is now using it now that he's a college student. And it's to support people like Ryan that we actually launched our student edition about 3 months ago. It includes some great academic features like the citation feature I showed you, as well as bibliography, summaries, reports, and most importantly for collaboration, shareable libraries, which I'm happy to talk more about during Q&A. One of the other things that we're really excited about is that we've been embraced by instructors as well in the classroom. So we just wrapped up a pilot last month in the Bay Area where we're from with Summit Prep. It's a pretty high-profile charter school. And the teachers there asked the students to use Scribble for the first time to do research in preparation for a speech that they deliver at the end of the persuasive speech class. Traditionally, the work that they did was old school, using those old school broken desktop era workflows. But this year they used Scribble, and it's been really great. The results are fantastic. I won't read through the quotes, you can take a quick look at them. But the gist of it is that the teachers love the fact that the students could spend less time doing the manual workflow that we all gotten used to doing over the last 2 decades, and spend more time thinking critically about the information that they're reading. And also the teachers are actually able to see their work in real time because they can share this information and expose it essentially in real time while they're doing that work. And it's a really powerful mechanism to close the feedback loop between students and teachers when you're doing this kind of work. Now, I know a lot of people talk about being Common Core aligned, but I wanted to point out exactly how we are very, very specifically supporting the Common Core. If you look at the Common Core standards for ELA, there are actually very specific parts of the standards that speak specifically to research skills, as well as career-level ready critical reading skills. And those are both areas that we play in because we operate in the realm of reading, writing, and research. And one of the great things that we think we're able to do and contribute in terms of making the education system better, both here and abroad, is that we're both supporting digital fluency because the students are actually using all the great tools that we've built for collecting and basically thinking and working with the information. We also think that based on the feedback we've gotten from teachers and how they're using Scribble currently in the classroom, great opportunity to support critical thinking, critical reading skills, and research skills. Through, for example, a teacher might say, have students go out to the web, find articles, highlight evidence in one color, add notes about the bias or the assumptions that the author is making about the writing that they're reading, that sort of thing. And we really believe this is something that we really need to expand on. And so one of the things we're working on is a classroom edition, which is actually going to allow teachers to create novel new types of online reading and research experiences. And we're going to launch that later this year. And that'll, of course, bubble up analytics about how the students are doing on those assignments that are created within the system. One of the other things we're really excited about is that we've actually been approached by publishers and app developers who love our advanced annotation technology, which has really been built with some proprietary IP, and having that embedded within their content and their apps. So for example, we did a sort of proof of concept deal with the CK12 Foundation, which is an OER customizable e-textbook provider, and we're powering the note-taking and annotation functionality within their system. Thousands of their students are using our tools, and we're looking to expand that as well as do work with other publishers and app developers. Quickly here, our business model is freemium. I'm happy to touch more upon that during Q&A. We've got $600,000 in grant funding from the National Science Foundation through their SBIR program. We've got great accolades from a variety of ed tech events we've been to over the last 6 months. The founders are myself and my co-founder Andy, who's sitting here in the audience. We've both been through a previous startup with a successful exit, and we're bringing that experience to bear at Scribble. And we've got some great networks that have been backing us. In closing, I'm just going to basically provide a great sort of a preview to an announcement we're going to make in the next couple of weeks, which is we're launching an integration with Evernote, so that the 3 million or so users that are using Evernote's web clipper to save online articles to their Evernote account can actually use Scribble to annotate those, which is something that Evernote does not support but has been asked to build. And I'll just leave up some reasons why we think you ought to vote for us, and we ask you for your vote and consideration. Thanks so much.
Big round of applause, please, to Scribble. Fantastic, Victor. Thank you so much, guys. Some questions from the jury, if you may.
Yes, so impressive product. Thanks for sharing. One of the things that struck me is it's actually similar to some other products that are out there. So I wonder if you would take a minute and say something about how this differs from, Zotero or Mendeley, and why you think there's a need for another product in the space.
Sure. So first of all, many of the tools that are out there really focus on citation. So the two that you mentioned actually have a heavy emphasis only on citation. The ability to actually do all the on-page, in-context annotation work that you saw in the screenshots is actually technically non-trivial, and it's a really hard nut to crack. Many people have tried since Web 1.0, and we've basically developed some great algorithms that we've patented that actually make that possible. So the user experience is frankly just very different, and what you get to do with the product as a result of that functionality is extremely different. That's one example, but there's other things I can talk about.
Just to follow up on that, because it is a really crowded space.
Sure.
How do you plan on what's your strategy in terms of sort of getting into that space and growing?
Sure. So we first launched as a consumer app because we felt like the problems we were solving could really be applicable to lots of different people. And what we found was naturally the students and instructors were emailing us. So we feel like one of the things that we have is a nice just natural resonance within education.
Good morning. There's only a couple hours left to fill out your game cards and raffle coupons.
Hold that for.
Will begin at 12:30 today.
So, in addition to that...
Good morning. There's only a few hours left to fill out your game cards and raffle coupons. Drawings will begin at 12:30 p.m. today.
Okay. So in addition to that, we believe heavily in being able to leverage partners in order to be able to get to scale and get out there in the marketplace. So this Evernote example is one example. We've done a simple Google sign-on authentication integration so schools can use Google Apps for education. We actually just recently did a very simple Canvas integration for the schools that use LMSs. We're planning to do many, many more of those. At the end of the day, when you're a small company in a crowded space, you really need to find ways to be able to leverage up, and we feel like we're talking to great partners that have both approached us and that we're approaching in order to do that.
Hey, can you talk a little bit about revenue? I'm a happy Evernote paying customer.
Sure.
I've never had to pay for Deagle, and I get the sense that their market base hasn't really grown as much as they would have liked. How do you fit revenue into this?
Sure. Basic edition we launched for consumers is free. Student edition that we launched 3 months ago is free. The classroom edition that we're planning to launch that adds the great analytics for how students are using the product in the classroom and all the assignment work will either be freemium or not free. We're also planning, like Evernote, and I guess Deagle I think could have done this, is actually launch potential upgrades in other areas, so outside of education. And if in our perspective, I guess, in a worst case scenario, theoretically, education could be subsidized by other markets if we wanted to do that. But we really believe there's a sustainable market with us within education just based on the premium products we're going to be selling, both in higher ed and in K-12. Anyone?
Fantastic. Thank you, jury.
Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you, sir.